This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on? Alright, well, we're starting a new year now, everybody. I know, just when you thought it was over. Starting a new year, talked to Pauline. She seemed like she's interested in coming on the show, you know, more regularly, just keep us going to try to, I mean, we already do really well. It's just, you know, I want to make this year more, a little bit more focused in on trying to fund some of the genealogy work to identify victims or even, you know, a killer or somebody that's unidentified. Something like that. So, should be a good year. And, yep, Happy New Year again. We were on just after midnight on the West Coast. There we go. Andrea Gerald Drum, starting off the new year. Oh yeah? Well, I'm glad you're finally showing up in the chat. And also I wanted to say, you know, there's people that say all the time, oh man, I'm praying to have this case and that case solved. And, you know, to be honest with you, I shouldn't say anything like, oh my god, you're so overboard. Because in reality, it's good to, if you're that, you know, into a case, go ahead. You know, it's better to be interested than not at all, okay? So, if, you know, I'm just, the reality is I want the Delphi case solved more than any other case currently. But I want them all solved the same amount. It's hard to explain, but you know, it's just sort of like the one that I don't obsess over it though, you know. I cover it every once in a while, you know, like every couple weeks on a show just to kind of keep it going. But, you know, when you start obsessing over cases like that, you start going down those crazy rabbit holes that almost never turn out to be reality. Hey, all right, Barbara Smith.
I'm back in civilization.
Awesome, and you got a new Australian accent. But anyways, I shouldn't flip people crap who say, I'm praying. You know, I guess what it is, like last night I was getting a little, and nobody said anything to me about this. I'm just saying what I was thinking later in the evening. You know, we had the guy come in and go, hey Graves, so what's the update on the Delphi case? And it's like, we're not even talking about the Delphi case. We were talking about something completely different. And see, it's those people always feel like they're trolls, you know, because it's like, can you just realize that we're talking about something else every once in a while? Hey, thanks, Billy Boy Blue. No, it's not. I'll send you back.
Gray Investigates show?
Yeah, it's not. I'll send you back the. Is it Billy Boy Blue? Did you need the money or something, or? Yeah. Billy Boy Blue. He needed the money. Ooh. Thank you. All right, anyways, that's just something I wanted to say. Go ahead and say you pray for the same case over and over again. You know, it's all right. Yeah, where the hell were you, Billy Boy Blue? I was just asking about you. We need the nursery rhymes, okay? Right. It's I want lots of cases solved, just like Roll said. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who they only say that about one case over and over and over again. But I won't say my problem is I've said stuff like, "Oh God, you're so obsessed," But yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to pray for something, I guess, right? It's just one of those things that frustrates me a little bit. Sleeping in, huh? Hey, it's Susanna. Matt Gilla, right? Is it Matt Gilla? Because that's what Colleen said. Not Giola. See, I'd say Giola because it's right there. Why? If it was Gilla, wouldn't you just get rid of the O? Susanna MacGilla Podrick. It's close, right? Gilla. Probably just kind of a quickly blurred O. Hey, Stacy, how's it going? Yeah, did you stop by at all last night, Stacy? It was crazy in here. It was a 5-hour show. Yep. Anyways, I'm gonna get on to these cases. My lungs are. It looks like I didn't have both tests have come back that are negative. So apparently I don't have COVID or whatever. But like I said, I inhaled something, so my lungs are. I hate the part when they send you the result and say, just because the results say negative, that doesn't mean that. Well, what does it mean then? Why do we do the test if it doesn't mean something? All right. Oh, sweet. Yeah. Yeah, it was really crazy. So this last month of the year, we donated $2,000, but then put $1,000, so $3,000 total were taken out of the funds, and $1,000's being moved forward into this year for a genealogical research, I guess, on that case, the 1961. That's what's being looked at to put the money towards. So, looking forward to that. Right. Yeah, cool. All right. So, here we go. Some of these they're kind of just random. They're 1979 Ohio cold cases. And some of them don't really have a lot of information. One has a lot of information, and then one of them's... Who's that one? Peterson, the guy who killed his wives. There's one that's kind of like that I just stumbled upon. Drew Peterson, right? No, not Scott Peterson. The guy who killed his wives. Yeah. See, I got it before you guys did. Yeah. Although maybe because of your lag, you wouldn't know that. Okay. The first case is, it's two people. Charles Brothers and Delores McClain. Yeah. So here we go. I don't think this one has a picture of the individuals. Now this one, both victims are black in this case, I believe. and at least they have some coverage. But now we're moving into 1979, so maybe they were a little bit less prejudiced, I guess. All right, 2 bludgeoned to death. Police are investigating the deaths of a Winton Terrace man and woman who apparently were bludgeoned to death in the man's home. The victims are Charles Brothers, 67, of 27 Craft Street, and Delores McClain, of 42 years old, of 17 Craft Street. So I think they're just like right next to each other, somewhere right here in this little community. And I think these buildings have been there for a long time. I mean, I guess we could just go right here. You know, it's like a, I don't know if it's projects or what these are. They're like apartments, kind of fenced in. It says, police said Mrs. McClain's daughter, Sharon McClain, 23, 4920 Winesta Avenue, in the same area. So literally the daughter lives right here. So she just, I guess, let me just read through it. You'll be able to tell what I'm saying. Police said Mrs. McClain's daughter, Sharon McClain, 23, of 4920 Winest Avenue, Winton Terrace, had reported her mother missing last Friday. Sharon McClain said her mother had left Mrs. McClain's home early Friday to pick up her husband. So let's see. So Sharon McClain, that's the daughter, said her mother left Mrs. McClain, so left Sharon's home earlier Friday to pick up her husband and cash a check. So I don't know, where the husband is or anything like that. Hey, thank you again, Andrea Ruggiero Drum. Hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Hit the thumbs up to show the channel some love.
That's right. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, you can send super chats. We take a large portion at the end of each month and donate it to charity. The last year, go out and try to find another YouTube channel that donated $22,000. Okay, just let me know when you find that one. So that's and it's really 23. We just moved 1,000 into this year because we didn't have, there's no mechanism yet to send in the money for DNA. All right, the DNA testing, and that won't be counted. Well, it'll be counted as part of next year, but I guess it would have been 23. Well, 23 was allocated. Let's put it that way. So, anyways, she left with her husband. She also said Miss McClain had a heart problem as well. She would walk with the aid of crutches, and she's only 42 years old. That's pretty crazy. The website said she was 67, but that's just not accurate. The daughter said her mother was carrying $300 in cash when she left the house. See, but I don't know how that works. So McClain's earlier Friday to pick up her husband and cash a check. So wouldn't she have, let's see, Sharon McClain said her mother had left Mrs. McClain's home earlier Friday to pick up her husband and cash a check. She also said Mrs. McClain had a heart problem. And then it says the daughter said her mother was carrying $300 in cash when she left the house. Well, what do you mean? So she had $300 in her pocket and was going to cash a check? I don't know. It seems like you're almost missing a little piece there. Monday evening, Sharon McClain went to Brothers, which is the guy's last name, the other victim, home, and summoned District 5 police when when there was no answer at the locked door, so she probably called and got a welfare check. Sharon McClain told officers that her mother and the other neighbors occasionally drank at Brothers' home. So it's not her brother, that's just his last name. Police said Brothers had a diabetic condition and rarely left the house. Yeah, it didn't say that though, Shelley. So you got to go with what they said, not what you want to guess, you know. Police found Brothers' body in the kitchen of his home, and Mrs. McClain's body, nude from the waist down, was found in the bedroom. Yeah. See, right here it says, Sharon McClain said her mother left Mrs. McClain's home, meaning she left Sharon's home, earlier Friday to pick up her husband and cash a check. She also said Mrs. McClain had a heart problem, and then it says the daughter said her mother was carrying $300 in cash when she left the house. See, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, I see what you're saying. Let me read that again. Sharon McClain said her mother had left Mrs. McClain's home earlier. Well, no, but it said her mother left Mrs. McClain's home earlier. Yeah, the mother left the home to pick up her husband and cash a check. That's how it's written. I mean, I see what you're getting at, though. Like, maybe Sharon left to go cash a check, but it doesn't say that. It says Sharon McClain said her mother had left her home, Sharon's home. I'm not sure. The way they word it's stupid. They should have said Sharon again. To pick up her husband and cash a check. No, but I see what you're saying. Well, here's the thing, Shelley. It's a terribly written paragraph. Okay? If this is supposed to be Sharon here, they should have said Sharon McClain said her mother had left Sharon's home earlier Friday to pick up her husband and cash a check. See? That way everybody would know, okay? Right away, instead of like, well, wait, they're both Mrs. McClain. What, Okay, so police said Brothers had a diabetic condition and rarely left his house. Police found Brothers' body. So the man, his body was found in the kitchen of his home, and Mrs. McClain's body, nude from the waist down, was found in the bedroom. All right, and then Sergeant Thomas Oberschmidt, acting homicide squad commander, said preliminary autopsy reports indicate Mrs. McClain had been bludgeoned fatally about the head. But it seems like she was assaulted too, because why would her, unless her and the other guy were in the middle of, So it's, it's sort of interesting if you think about it. Like, let's just pretend that her and this older guy, for some reason, were having some sort of an affair, and then she went off to cash the check with her husband, and then maybe the husband, I don't know. He catches them, and then boom, and then he takes the 300. Or was it somebody that just followed them and knew that they had just cashed checks? I wish I could have this explained better right here. This part here is really confusing. From the way they were beaten, there was no way they could have killed each other. So some people thought it was like they each killed themselves. Like she murdered him and he murdered her. Preliminary autopsy reports on Brothers were not complete Tuesday, but police sources said he also appears to have been bludgeoned to death. Police sources also said no money was found when the bodies were discovered, and one of Brothers' pants pockets was pulled inside out. So it sounds like it could easily be a robbery. This one is Charles Brothers and Delores McClain. Police sources also said no money was found when the bodies were discovered, and one of Brothers' pants pockets was pulled inside out. a large wooden board. You know, you kind of wonder if it's one of those ones that you slide out to, you know those boards that used to, some people still have them, but you'd slide them out on your countertop, and that's where you would cut your vegetables and everything. So you wonder if it's one of those, because you could pull them all the way out. Thanks, Gwen Jackson. So it's a large wooden board believed to have been the death weapon was discovered. So, wow, that's crazy. And so what that means, in a way, is that, you know, the person went in there and killed them on the spot. You know, like, it feels like the person probably knew them and was let in and then used an item from the house. They weren't prepared when they went in to kill, right? Unless, you know, they can tell me that the board was brought from outside into the house. Okay. And, well, then there's this weird sort of side note thing. I mean, look at this thing. Okay. A welfare caseworker, this is literally a month later, a welfare caseworker was shot to death Thursday afternoon inside the crowded downtown office of the Hamilton County, Welfare Department by a man police identified as her client. The victim was identified as Estella McClain, 40, of 5119 Paddock Road, Bond Hill. Police said the man wearing a straw hat and a ski jacket told them he was Arthur Lloyd Graves, about 40. He refused to say anything else. At this time, we have not established a definitive motive for the shooting, said police. This woman was his caseworker, said Police Captain Donald Slaughter. The suspect was subdued by security guards and at least one witness. Moments after screaming, coworkers and their clients heard gunfire in the second floor office. Hey, thank you, Lori H. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, it seems like finally, you know, some people are starting to, like, I just have to do my show the way I do it, and at least people are finding me that like the way I do it, you know, even though if I can be an ass sometimes, all right? Okay. I can be honest. But it's hard to change, you know, because I'm, you know, 55 now. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can learn technology, though, but personality, forget it.
I appreciate the effort you put in and the wonderful quality of your channel.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Let's see. McClain desperately tried to defend herself before she was shot, police said. At least 4 bullets fired from a .22 caliber pistol struck her in the chest. The pistol was described as a Saturday night special. I think that's one of those really tiny guns. They're almost like those 23 calibers. You know, those little tiny. I was 2 feet away and heard a noise. I didn't know. So anyways, this lady was shot in there. And the guy that shot her was this guy right here. And this guy's name was Arthur Lloyd Graves. Got the little straw hat on. It's weird. He just looks like just a total... Who does he look like? You know what he looks like to me? He's the guy that always goes to the Clipper games. He was a Clipper fan before the Clippers were good. And then he was in the movie... shit. What's the name of that damn thing? God, he looks just like him in this picture. What's the one where the girl pretends like she's... I don't even want to do that one. The one where the guy, he liked this girl, and I think it was Meg Ryan played that part, I think. And then they finally got together on New Year's over a long period of time. Come on, you guys can do it. Yes, Billy Crystal. There you go. Hey, look at Kit Kat. Nailed it. All right. See, look at that guy. That's Billy Crystal. Come on, tell me that's not Billy Crystal right there. Look at that. Top Gun. Jesus. Yeah, well, see that? You don't tell me that's not... You can't see that's Billy Crystal right there? Come on. It's a freaking clone. Yeah, other than that, just look at the face on him. It's just... okay. So here's the... This is the... It says the phone in the small dining room in the apartment number 3 of 5119 Paddock Road has been ringing almost constantly since Estella McClain was shot to death Thursday afternoon. Her husband, Ernest McClain, that's this guy right here, has been busy making arrangements for her funeral. He is cool, matter of fact, the full realization of what has happened not yet registering. She was beautiful, he repeated, remembering his wife of 6 years. They had been childhood sweethearts in the West End, but their marriage, March 8, 1972, was the second for both of them. Thursday afternoon, a supervisor at the Hamilton County Welfare Office at Sycamore and 7th Street called McClain and told him Ernestella has been shot. Okay, the thing is this guy right here is the brother of Delores McClain, who was beaten to death in her, in the house of Charles Brothers just a month earlier. So this guy right here loses his sister and his wife, both murdered in a month. Sometimes you kind of look at that and you go, is that just totally random, or is there something else, this bigger picture somewhere? They did catch the guy that killed her, but yeah, I don't know. It's just bizarre. Yeah, you gotta feel bad for that guy. Her case is solved. Her sister-in-law is the one that's not solved. And hopefully, I don't know if they did a rape kit back then, but hopefully they did. And maybe they could do something on the other case. But anyways, a lot of times I'll bring in these other side story things because it just makes the whole thing a little bit crazier, right? Like, that's just bizarre. All right, so that's it. That's all I got on that one. There's no other information. Oh, thank you, Indigo Eyes.
Strong cup of coffee to start the year off with the wonderful freaks. Heart decoration.
That's a quadruple espresso, right? Yeah, at least it got some coverage. Although the murder didn't get much. It was mainly the other one did because, it's crazy. A gunman came in and shot somebody. But there was a story on it, so I guess we could say that. All right, now the next short one I got here is Pauline Graham. Another very short one. She lived on the 5th floor of this apartment. So 1, 2, 3, 4, up here somewhere. In room 510. And here's another. Pauline Graham, 71 of 465 West Grand Avenue, apartment 510, was pronounced dead in the apartment building of a stab wound to the left side of her chest. Her body was discovered at 10 a.m. And at 12:50 a.m. yesterday, these are just other murders, so they bring up these other ones. Then down here it says Mrs. Graham was stabbed and strangled. I mean, it's weird. I didn't even really think about it until we've been doing these shows in the last 2 months, but I didn't realize that there were so many elderly people that are just absolutely murdered by barbarians, you know, like strangled and stabbed, and you know, you kind of figure they get to live, you know. I mean, I know that they exist because I've covered some, but it seems like there's a lot more that I've become aware of, and cold cases too. You'd think elderly murders, you'd have a little bit more solvable rate. You know, you'd think that maybe it would be, you know, somebody that knew what they had, something like that. I don't know. That she was stabbed, strangled. She was found near a bathroom in the apartment building. And then here is the actual story on it. That's it. But there she is right there. She's like, hey, just one more thing. Right? Listen, I told you that. Yeah. That's a great photograph right there. You know the ones I don't like are the posed photographs. You know, it's always the ones where somebody's doing something, and then you really get a feel, instead of the ones, okay, everybody, smile and say cheese. What are you talking about, Susanna? Who didn't have their own toilet? Since the fall day, nearly 4 years ago, so this is actually, let's see, when Jessie Louise Richards was found crushed in a trash compactor in her Dayton apartment next door, neighbor Pauline P. Graham, 71, had feared she would be killed. Mrs. Graham's killer came Tuesday. Whoever it was apparently went to her Dayton Metropolitan Housing Authority apartment in the early hours of the morning, strangled her, and stabbed her in the chest. She was found in the hallway near the bathroom, lying on her side. The Montgomery County Coroner's Office placed the time of death at about 5 a.m. Mrs. Graham had thought she knew too much about the death of Miss Richards. Interesting. Her next-door neighbor in apartment 512. Oh, you know, I didn't even read this yet, but now the story just got a hell of a lot more interesting, right? I mean, that's crazy. Her neighbor in the room right next to her, you know, it's an apartment building. I'm sure 511's on the other side of the hall. God, makes me want to look that one up. And if that one's unsolved, well, obviously it was at this time. Wow. Miss Graham had thought she knew too much about the death of Miss Richards, her next-door neighbor in apartment 512 at 465 West Grand Avenue. Mrs. Graham said Miss Richards, 54, told her that she had been raped by two men. Miss Richards feared one of them, thought she had contracted... Miss Richards feared one of them, thought she had contracted venereal disease from her and would try to kill her, Miss Graham said. Let me see, Miss Richards feared one of them, thought he had contracted venereal disease from her and would try to kill her, Miss Graham said. Oh, wow. The Montgomery Coroner's Office, however, had ruled Miss Richards' death a suicide. Yeah, I don't know, everybody. Look, I don't have a lot of faith anymore, and I used to be always like, oh yeah, I mean, you know, these medical examiners, they know, they're right on, you know, boom. They just nail it every time out of the ballpark, and I really don't believe that anymore. I think most of the time they got it right, but you know, just looking at the DJ Ficky case, who in the hell puts themselves in a trash compactor? You know what? I'd like to take myself out. What's the worst? Oh, I know, a trash compactor. I mean, that's just ridiculous, okay? So, I don't know. I don't buy into it at all. I don't think so, Sean. So, I don't agree with you. I mean, that's just an opinion, right? That they're right. Who really even knows? But there's so many cases that we go over that just idiotic logic, just things that you just can't even imagine. Really? It's a suicide? Yeah. Yeah, well, there's families that dispute suicides when they really, when they're just very certain. You have some, for example, a perfect one would be the Jonathan, I can't remember his last name all of a sudden, Cruz case. One of the ones I worked with Sheila Wysocki on. It's perfect example. He just got a new dog. He got a new car. He had a new apartment. And then his girlfriend comes over and he ends up being shot in the chest. And no guy shoots themselves in the chest, right? They blow their brains out. All right. And the angle of it was exactly consistent with her standing next to him by the edge of the bed and shooting him. It's 100%. I mean, it's just right there. I did a whole video on it, 3D. Everything. I had all the figures, you had the autopsy report, and literally to say it was a suicide is mind-boggling, right? Ridiculous. Or accidental. It definitely wasn't accidental. Yeah. So, they are right most of the time. 99.9, yeah, I don't know about that. You get a good counter ME and they usually can do a good job. So a lot of times what they do is they make their findings match what the detectives are telling them. Yeah, well, what we think here, okay, let me see how I can twist that around. Okay, great. What I'd love to see is the detectives and the prosecutors cannot say a word to a medical examiner. And the medical examiner can write down, his thoughts and options if, this looks like a suicide, but it could be a murder if da-da-da-da-da. They need to have their own thoughts without somebody helping them with their thoughts, right? But it's never that way. They always have communications with the prosecutor and detectives even sometimes to sort of give them a hint at where they're going with this. So it's horrible. Anyway, so they thought it was a suicide. Nevertheless, Miss Graham said she believed one of those men might try to kill her. So I think her saying that and knowing this, I think they should have looked at again the ruling here of suicide, because she actually said, oh man, I think those guys are going to try to kill me, and then boom, she's murdered. And what are the odds that she would have predicted something like that, right? No, it does work like that, Sean. Anyways, you seem like you're on a trolling mode, because every single thing I say you try to contradict it, but you're full of shit. Okay, so let's put you on timeout. All your comments are removed. You can always come back. It does work like that. Okay, I can just tell you it does work like that, and we see it. They say, "Oh yeah, even in the DJ Ficky case, that's exactly how they did it." They even tell you, "Well, we can't change it. The ruling it has to be the detectives have to do it." Well, then what were you doing? They explain it to you, that they have communications, they go over it, and it sort of matches what they're doing. Happens every time. All right, Sean? All right. Look it up. I know it's not probably supposed to work that way, but somehow it just does. Let's see. There it is. That's not really me, Cindy. I know people say it is, but... After Miss Richards' death, Miss Graham had... Let's see, hold on. According to Dayton police investigators, a connection between the two deaths could exist. See, there you go. Okay, so here's the thing. Is right here, it was ruled a suicide. Nevertheless, Miss Graham said she believed one of those men might try to kill her. Then the very next paragraph, according to Dayton police investigators, a connection between the two deaths could exist. So they're saying it could exist, so that would then immediately change the suicide to a murder, if the could became a reality. But Detective James Reed, who is in charge of the investigating Mrs. Graham's death, said that police have no witnesses. There was no sign of forcible entry or struggle. It is a difficult case. She was clad in a house dress. Her body was found in the hallway off the kitchen, and she still had on her watch and wedding ring. We haven't determined whether robbery was involved, he said. After Miss Richards' death, Miss Graham had requested transfer to another Dayton Metropolitan Housing Authority. See, that's crazy, right? She was so worried that she wanted to be moved, but was turned down. Recently, a transfer for Mrs. Graham was approved, but it was to a facility still under construction. Oh, man. Mrs. Graham told acquaintances several times that someone had tried to gain entrance to her apartment, and she had taken precautions against that. According to Montgomery County Coroner Investigator Jack Joyce, she set little traps in her house, propping doors with chairs. She would come back and find it had been moved. She would put something like furniture. Man, this lady was really, aware that something was going to be happening to her. Would put something like furniture in the way so in case someone came in. Miss Graham was a loner, the investigator said. She just didn't mix well with anyone, he said. Immediately after Miss Richards' death in 1975, neighbors believed they would be killed too. Immediately after Miss Richards' death in 75, neighbors believed they would be killed too. Interesting. Miss Graham, who asked not to be identified at the time, told the Dayton Daily News on February 8, 1976, that she had found threatening anonymous notes under her doormat. She said that one note said, in effect, "You run your trap too much. You might be next." See, and what was she running her trap about? Probably about what she knew about her friend, Miss Richards. So, and if it was an accident or a suicide, why in the hell would anybody say you're running your trap too much? Right? Hey, thank you, Beauty for Ashes. I got a little lung congestion because I inhaled, I don't know what I inhaled, but liquid or something. But apparently I don't have COVID. Yeah, so Mrs. Graham, who asked not to be identified, okay, we got that. She said that one note said, in effect, "You run your trap too much. You might be next." Another said, "Beware." They either couldn't spell or didn't want to spell, said Mrs. Graham. Whoever wrote this either acted stupid or wanted you to think they were stupid. They tried to print it and misspelled words. Miss Richards never reported the alleged rapes to authorities. Asked about the notes before her death, Miss Graham, a short, heavy-set woman who had been confined to a wheelchair, told the Daily News she had thrown them away. "I know too much," said Mrs. Graham. "He's coming to kill me next. I have lived in constant fear. I know Jessie didn't kill herself. A man did it. The woman Richards was killed, and you will never tell me nothing else." Wow. That is a crazy story, man. I'm glad this other article was in there. She was very aware of what was going on. She knew too much. She knew that Miss Richards didn't kill herself. And she had those notes. And she was killed. There you go. But yes, it was Miss Richards was a suicide. A lot of people, I don't know if you're aware, they like to throw themselves into trash compactors. Let's see, where is that one? There it is. Was found crushed in a trash compactor in her Dayton apartment next door. Yeah, because she just went, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and throw myself. Yes, you're still timed out, Shawn Michaels. Oh, there you go. Bye-bye, Shawn. It's not just disagreeing. You're contradicting for the sake of contradicting. I can tell, and I just proved you wrong in this case, and it's absolutely true. What I was saying is that a lot of times the detectives and the prosecutors all hang out. You go do your own thing. You can tell everybody how perfect everything is all the time, and start your own channel. I'm sure it'll be a great one, Shawn. Have a good one. All right. So that is that case. So don't you think that Richards was a murder? Yeah, it's one of those people. I don't mind if people disagree and they have a reason, but like 2 comments in a row you completely disagree just for the sake of being the contrarian in the room, and nobody's impressed, okay? Because you're wrong, all right? So go start your own channel, do your own thing. Yeah, so you thought, yeah, definitely. I mean, 5'12" and she's in 5'10", right next to each other. She's crushed in a trash compactor and ruled a suicide, but she was going around saying, no, it wasn't. She was even in the newspaper saying it, and that's why these people were angry, because they probably knew who it was. And they need to actually say that that's unsolved now, too. I guarantee it that the Richards case is not a suicide. They probably have it where part of her body was sticking out, so she probably just stuck her head in there, whatever. But are you kidding? Who would do that? Hey, Michelle Nicholas.
Good evening, loves. Bop that. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, this one is Karen Lillian Michalski. And here's another thing, too, is people like that Shawn guy up above. It'll never end. No matter what you say, he'll contradict it, and then you'll get in an argument, and it'll take away from the show. Yes, I think most of the time, I think most cases have a medical examiner, and you have a detective in there, and they want to know what this. Most medical examiners want to know the circumstances of what happened. Okay, and it helps them in their findings. So even that alone is exactly what I'm talking about. It's all part of that. I mean, that's why you see in the reports a lot of times things mentioned, right? So anyways, it's just the reality, but people, they just want to create arguments, and I don't care if you disagree, but if you're disagreeing about something over and over again that's not even close to being what you were saying, then, you know, I think it's literally happens all the time. Okay? I see it. I'm not making it up. Yeah. You know, even if you disagree, you could say, well, I don't know if it's that person, you know, but no, it's 99.9% of the time, everybody, and it's... Yeah. Yeah, you know, I think most of the time they get it right. I'm just saying that, you know, and sometimes I don't even think, you know, here's the thing, is sometimes it seems like it's important to kind of know the circumstances. Like if you just go, oh wow, here's a body that's crushed on the ground, but then you have information up in the apartment building up above, and let's say there's no handprints on the back or something, but there's something else up there that points to that the person was forced out the window and it wasn't a suicide, because the other one would just be, maybe they shouldn't determine that aspect of it or something sometimes. Just go like this. The body was found on the ground. The reason for death was, explain all the things that caused the death, and then leave it up to prosecutors to, well, I don't know. God, Jesus. So it's so frustrating because we've talked about dozens of cases that are listed as suicides that aren't, and you just wonder how that happens so often. Yeah, you need more booze. Oh, that's right. Today's a holiday. I thought last night was. I know, isn't that crazy, Brianna? Yeah, that's the reality. What would be an interesting study would be to take an autopsy, an actual scene, give it to two medical examiners, but have detectives explain two different scenarios, and then one of them makes it seem like a suicide, and then see if they kind of come up with information that points to what the detectives wanted. I know that some don't do that. I've seen it too, where they completely contradict. Like we did a study, or not a study, a case a while ago. You remember that one where the time was changed right before the trial, and then they were like, "Oh shit! Well, that guy couldn't have done it." Yep, confirmation bias. Okay, this case here kind of reminds me of that one recently where the girl was shot driving her car. Maybe not really, though, because it's a shotgun. Irate driver slaying suspect. So we don't know. They don't even know. This is just absolute wild speculation right up here. Police say slight dents and scratches on the bumper of Karen L. Michalski's car may be clues to the slaying of the Lorraine woman who was found shot to death in the car early Thursday. Police said Miss Michalski, 29, was killed by a shotgun blast fired at point-blank range through the window as the locked car sat in a driveway outside an apartment building. Neighbors told police they heard a horn blow and a shot shortly before midnight. Now, I wonder if the horn, I could see her being shot and then her head falling onto the horn, something like that. Or it could have been honking a horn to get somebody out from in front of them, and then they shot her. I don't know, but Police Chief Charles Petro said Miss Michalski may have been involved in a minor accident, and an irate driver could have chased her several miles before she pulled into the driveway. Yeah, maybe. But you don't know when she got those scratches. That's just really wild speculation to know, oh, well, there's these little, I mean, unless it's absolutely clear forensically that those are new scratches. Yeah, it could be plausible, but it might not be at all. You know, that's the thing. It could be somebody that wanted to kill her, waited for her to get to where she was, unless she was shot in some totally random place. Lakewood police say slight dents and scratches on the bumper of Karen L. Michalski's car may be clues to the slaying of the 29-year-old Lorraine woman who was found shot to death in the car early Thursday. Police said Miss Michalski was killed by a shotgun blast fired at her head at point-blank range through the window as the locked car sat in the driveway outside an apartment building. Doesn't say her apartment building. And they never said where this was. And then there's this kid. It says, Lakewood police said Wednesday that they confiscated a shotgun from a 19-year-old Fairview Park man who was questioned in the slaying last week of Karen L. Michalski, 29. Police said the shotgun was found during a search of the man's car at a towing company, where it was taken after a traffic accident on the night Miss Michalski was killed. So you're like, wow, that's a pretty good lead. Police said no charges were filed, but that the man's account of where he was and his reason for having the shotgun in the car were being checked. 3 shotgun shells also were found in the car. And then it's been fired even, right? So, anyways, never led to anything, apparently. And that's it for that one, right? It's like a Melissa Pesky type deal. Yeah, I'd like to know if that was her apartment, it's more likely she was ambushed. If it was some random apartment, it was like somebody honking their horn, having her pull over, and then that person just, they got so angry that she drove tons of miles away, and then they pulled out their shotgun and shot her. All right. That's it. So I'm moving on to the next one now. Lori Hand. So this one was pretty weird. And then it just got really weird, and then I've never heard of this case, but apparently, obviously people have heard about it because this guy's a nut job. Police are investigating the unusual circumstances of the murder of Lori Lee Hand, wife of Gerald R. Hand. She was found dead with a plastic bag over her head in the basement of her home. So Gerald Hand's first wife also was found dead with a plastic bag over her head 3 years ago in the basement of the same house. I mean, isn't that just right there? Like, okay. It's strange, said Hama. It's strange? Said Hama. What do you mean it's strange? It's not just strange. It's freaking, this guy did it, okay? It's strange, said homicide detective Tom Davis, about the parallels between the two deaths. It's something we are looking into. He said Lori Lee's death Sunday was a murder, and the Franklin County Coroner's Office said she died of strangulation. Hand's first wife, Donna Ann, 27, was found at the floor of the basement steps in the home with a plastic bag over her head and a cord wrapped around her neck. Her death was ruled a murder by strangulation, and no arrests were made in the killing. See, that's interesting. So her death was even ruled a murder, not a suicide. No suspects have been taken into custody in the death of 21-year-old Lori Lee, and no motive for the killing has been established. Right. And then you move forward to 2002, and ex-Columbus man's wife was his third spouse to be slain. After learning about the shooting death of former Columbus man's current wife, police decided to take another look at the 2 unsolved killings of his first 2 wives. Detectives with the cold case squad reopened the other cases Thursday and began to share notes with authorities in Delaware County, where Gerald Hand now lives. We have nothing to link them with the most recent homicide, Columbus spokesman Sergeant Earl Smith said of the old cases. We're hoping that someone out there who may have information on those old homicides might come forward. No one was charged in either slaying. How come, though? God. I mean, you have the same M.O. in the same house, even? You don't think it's the husband? Just some other guy? Yeah. Donna Hand was 27. She was found dead in the basement of the couple's home. Her head had been covered with a plastic dry cleaning bag, and a wire had been wrapped around her neck. Lori Hand was found slain in the same basement. She had been strangled and shot in the head, and a plastic bag over her head and blue jeans tied around her neck. Jill Hand was shot once in the head, Delaware County Coroner Daniel Tradow said. Although Hand told authorities that he chased Welsh out of his house and shot him from behind, Genoa Township Police Chief Robert Taylor said Thursday that the first bullet that hit Welsh was fired inside the house. Yeah, so, he killed 2 people in this instance. And then he killed his first 2 wives. Yeah, man indicted in slaying of his wife. So a grand jury indicted Gerald Hand, 52, of Galena on charges of aggravated murder in the January deaths of Jill Hand and Walter Welsh, both of Columbus. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, this is an actual on the internet, 2003. The first wife had been murdered there, she said. It was also where an in-law would later find Lori's body. Last week, Lori's widower, Gerald Bobby Hand, 54, was convicted of murder in the deaths of his 4th wife, Jill, and a friend. So a 3rd wife didn't get murdered. Though he was charged only in the 2 January 15, 2002 slayings, prosecutors suspect Hand of having also been involved in the death of Lori and his wife, Donna. And he got life insurance policy payouts from all of them. So, I hadn't heard of this guy before, though. You guys might have. And there it is. Defendant collected benefits and deaths of previous wives. Wow, 700,000 right there. Hand received 50,000 check from the State Victim of Crime Compensation Fund. Yeah. So you got benefits, I guess. Hand also is the beneficiary of a lump sum pension worth $113,000 and deferred compensation totaling $42,000 from Jill Hand's job with the State Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Wow. Yeah, you just didn't get a big enough payouts on those first ones, I guess. Oh, yeah? Here a second. Okay, so that is it on that one. Those 2 cases aren't solved, the first 2 wives. So, I mean, I don't think they're working them unless they're trying to get him to confess. But I think they know that he did it. There's no way. He sounds like Cheryl Coker's husband, just a total psycho, So, all right, I'm going to take just a little quick break here for a second. What's going on? This one has a lot of information here. So the reward. This was the case of Mary M. Leonard and Richard J. Bird, 1979, August 24th. All right, and here we go. Friends and neighbors of two missing North Akron Utes have started a reward fund to help an Akron police investigation into their disappearance. Brenda Ronka and Heather Cook, two 16-year-old friends of Mary Margaret Leonard, 17, went door to door Tuesday to raise money. They raised $121 and deposited it at the North Akron Savings Association at 158 East Cuyahoga Falls Avenue. We wanted to do something. All right, so this is when they're just missing at this point. Detectives said Tuesday they found no evidence after a bloodhound searched the farm where Beard's car was found. Detectives also said they do not believe a bullet that apparently was fired from the back seat of Beard's car also penetrated a wall of an old garage near the spot where the car was found. Beard's driver's license was found tucked behind the visor, and a $5 bill was on the floor of the car. Miss Leonard is 5'7" and 120 pounds, and has brown medium-length hair and brown eyes, was wearing blue bib overalls and a white Acme zip t-shirt and blue shoes, and was carrying a dark purse with tan stripes. Beard is about 6 feet and 160 pounds, and has brown medium-length hair and brown eyes, and was wearing a white Oakland Raiders t-shirt, blue jeans, and tan ankle boots. And this is Richard Beard's parents right here. Helen and William Beard on porch awaiting news of their missing son. That was back on September 2nd, 1979. Then the article on that day is right here. Let's see. Let's see. Miss Leonard said she'd got no answer. Let me just find a spot here. The Beard said Richard has never brought Mary Leonard home, so he'd never brought his girlfriend home. However, they'd met her at a Cuyahoga Falls Avenue Acme supermarket where she worked. Richard and Mary had dated for 3 months. Richard's brother had told his parents the missing boy wasn't dating any other girls. The Leonards thought their daughter might have contemplated breaking off with Richard Beard. Last Sunday, Richard was to have taken Mary Margaret to a wedding at St. Martha's Catholic Church, East Thalmadge Avenue, where both families are members. They had been on a date the evening before. A neighbor said he saw them on Leonard's front porch in the early hours of August 25th. All right, just a second. Yeah, all right, so here we go. This is the front yard. This is the Leonard's house right there. So, her house. And there's the little front yard that they're talking about. Right there. Is that music too loud? I know Jennifer likes it a little lower. Doesn't seem loud. Hey, listen, Rebecca, don't block anything that, wait, who's remove it? Why isn't that one, why can't I see Richard's comment? I mean, Billy Boy Blue's comment. Billy Boy Blue. Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how it's blocked. I mean, how did it get blocked? It looks like it's just not visible. But don't block his comments, okay? Because that's the reason he was made a moderator in the first place. No, you see him, but he made a comment up there to Rebecca N. It's italicized and then... Yeah. Oh, yeah, that last sentence. Yeah, that last sentence isn't that great there, Billy Boy Blue. Oh, yeah. You can't put that last one in there. I didn't see that last sentence. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, come on, Billy Boy Blue. I know. Well, people get offended. I mean, you know, I look at it. It seems like the same kind of jokes that you always make. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And Patricia just repeated what was said. Yeah, anyways, do you guys mind if I just do the story here? Okay. I'm gonna get through this. I have about an hour left. I don't know why they're even having this conversation that led to any of these comments. You know, because my story has nothing to do with it. You know, has nothing to do with any of that stuff, disorders or. Okay. All right. Last Sunday, Richard was to have taken Mary to the wedding. Mary was scheduled to work that day. Let's see. A neighbor said he saw them on the Leonard front porch in the early hours of August 25th, but Miss Leonard said she was watching TV and would have known her daughter was home. Mary was scheduled to work that day of the wedding, and Richard was to pick her up at the store and bring her to church. Mrs. Leonard recalled, but her work schedule changed, and she said something to me about going with the family instead. The decision, plus a few other remarks she made, nothing direct, but me think she was no longer interested in Richard. I said to her, Mary, you are not serious about that boy. Why do you keep dating him? Miss Leonard said she got no answer, but she insisted Mary was a very frank girl. She always told me even little things I'd never have known otherwise. She always told me if she was going to leave the neighborhood, she was never a girl who'd leave without me knowing where she was going. Richard Leonard said he couldn't imagine Richard Beard abandoning the car, the young man's first. Yeah, so the thing is they found the vehicle parked. Let's see. Yeah, the vehicle's found in this area somewhere. You know, the map, it's just in this general area. It's basically in this area. The vehicle was found parked here. Okay? So they have found the vehicle, and there looks like a gunshot had happened inside the vehicle. Yeah, Blue and Chloe are wrestling now. All right. The Leonards also reported a host of phone calls, including one at 2 a.m. Friday from a woman who said she was a psychic. All right. The caller described a place with sobbing and humming sounds, rocks, and steel doors, and doors behind a falls. Leonard and Gasparo's family members began a 3.5-hour search of George Metropolitan Park, thinking the area of the dam where... So, yeah. Good job, psychics. You are so great. Then, yeah, here's some more psychic shit. This is October 7th, 1979. As the two police detectives drove toward North Walnut Street, one of the female psychics in the back seat lunged in pain and shouted, "Stop! This must be the place." The woman got out of the car, clutching her stomach. She led the others to two abandoned buildings, where detectives combed through rubble looking for corpses. Any indication of foul play, they found none. Why would they even listen to this shit, you know? But the psychic persisted. She directed the detectives over a bridge to a section of nearby railroad tracks. Again, nothing was turned up. After more than 2 hours of looking, the detectives gave up the search. The episode was typical of a frustration experienced by Akron police in their 43-day search for missing North Hill teenagers Mary Margaret Leonard and Richard Joseph Beard, the most intensive investigation of a missing person case in the department's history. Yeah, so basically this just goes through, talks about the searching again. Let's see, two bloodhounds indicated neither Mary nor Ricky was outside the car at the location where the car was found. That's interesting. The longer they're missing, the more baffled we are. Police were led astray September 7th when a letter was received from a Lucasville penitentiary inmate who claimed to have knowledge of the teenager's disappearance. The inmate demanded that a detective meet some of the inmate's friends the following night in the North High School parking lot. The detectives, watched by 10 members of the police SWAT team and other officers, went to the school. No one showed up to meet him. 2 days later, two Akron detectives went to Lucasville and interrogated the inmate. He didn't know anything, Craig said. He was just a prank. It was just a prank. Yeah, so they got a bunch of leads. Nothing panned out. Two missing teens baffle Akron police. He declined to rule out foul play. Psychic Kreskin has also been asked to help. Oh man, Kreskin. Oh jeez. But no word has yet been received. I think in the 70s, people accepted psychics. There's probably one that accidentally got something right, and they go, "Oh my God, it's..." When Beard's unoccupied car was discovered, the following day a bullet hole was found in the front window. Beard's father, William, said it had not been... It sounds like the shot came from inside the vehicle. Since finding the automobile on the desolate Northampton Road, police have been what they admit is a frustrating search for the couple because of lack of solid clues. Yep. Private investigators start search for teens. So the family shelled out a ton of money. Let's see. Miss Leonard, 17, and Beard, 19, were last seen August 24th in the front yard of the Leonard home. The next day, Beard's car was found abandoned in Northampton. The private detective who were in Akron today, Richard Riddle and James Grace, are two members of a six-man team that eventually will work on the case, they said. They are staying at Town and Country Motor Hotel in Cuyahoga. Yep, so they got private investigators coming in. A week later, missing teen's car spotted after it was on farmland. See, now this gets kind of getting a little bit strange here. Investigators say the car of North Hill teenager Richard Byrd was at a desolate farm lane in Northampton Township at least 1 hour before Beard and 17-year-old Mary Leonard disappeared from the Leonard home. See, then it's like, well, what are you even saying there? Beard's white Chevrolet Impala was found unoccupied on the same farm lane near Portage, Trail Extension, and Northampton Road on August 25th. A bullet hole was found in the front window. Beard and Miss Leonard were last seen about 11 p.m. the night before in the front yard of her parents' home. Richard Riddle, a private investigator with the William Deere detective firm, said detectives were able to confirm the information with the aid of the Akron Police Department. Riddle would not divulge any details of how investigators got the information. Riddle said investigators have determined that Beard's car was at the farm lane at about 10:10 p.m. on August 24th. So, you know, it's in this area at 10:10 p.m. August 24th. A few minutes later, though, Riddle said Beard and Miss Leonard were reportedly at the Ascot Drive-In Theater at 3409 Akron on Cleveland Road. So anyways, I've got that address too. So they were at this movie theater. It's not very far away. You know, let's see. Miles-wise, it was probably less than 4 miles. And wherever the drive-in theater was, I don't know. Maybe it was here. You know, I don't really know. You know, it was 1979. This is, you know, 30-something years later, 40 years later. So apparently they went there after. Their car was spotted there. See, for me, it seems like they went there to meet somebody at that little, on that little driveway. Then they go to this movie theater. He said the couple couldn't have been at the theater for, they could have only been there for a short amount of time, because within an hour they were seen at the Leonard home. See, then they were seen now after they were on that lane. They go back to the Leonard house, and that was around 11 o'clock. We're seen at the Leonard home. A neighbor, Frank Ronca, has said he saw the couple in the Leonard's front yard at 711 Thayer Street, Akron, shortly after 11 p.m. Yeah. Hold on a second. I made a call to the police department the other day, and then I had to unhide the restricted calls. So now I got to go back to those again, turn them off again. Yeah. Oh well. So there you go. And they're blocked again. And if you're one of the wackos out there, if you want, you can leave a message. If it goes through, I don't know if it'll make it. Oh, you know, the pizza deliveries again. You always have to keep adding everything up. Beard and Miss Leonard were last seen at 11 p.m. the night before in the front yard. Yeah. So here we go. So that neighbor said he saw them. Here, let's get to their home again. Right there. So they were seen on the 24th in the yard. But see, what's weird is if you go by this, their car was here at 10:10. Then it drove up to the movie theater, and they must have only been there a few minutes, because at around 11 o'clock they were back here in the front yard of Mrs. Leonard's home. Right? So isn't that strange? So they're on that road, and then that's where his car was found the following day. So it's like this big circle. The car is here at 10:10. Then it makes it over to the movie theater. Then goes back to the Leonard's house, and then the car is found on the same lane the following day. A neighbor friend. Okay, so Riddle said that anyone with any information. Yeah, so there's that. And let's go. Then about a week later, witnesses linked this man to 2 disappearances. Okay, this is a sketch of a man private investigators have been told was in the back seat of Richard Beard's car as Beard drove into a remote farm lane in Northampton Township at least an hour before Beard and 17-year-old Mary Leonard disappeared from the Leonard's Akron home on August 24th. Investigator Richard Riddle said the composite was drawn from the information obtained from a witness who said he was driving behind Beard's car when it turned into the lane. Riddle said Mary Leonard, also of Akron, was not seen in the car at the home. Beard's white Chevrolet... See, that's kind of weird. Investigator Richard Riddle said composite... let's see. Riddle said Mary Leonard, also of Akron, was not seen in the car at the time. See, that's kind of interesting, right? And when are they saying that was? Investigators had been in the back seat of Richard's car as Beard drove into a remote farm lane in Northampton Township at least an hour before Beard and 7. So when they drove into that driveway, this guy was sitting in the back seat. You know, the only thing that makes... What if it's a red herring that Leonard and Beard were seen in the yard at 11 o'clock by that neighbor? What if that's just a red herring? Because if you take that out of the story, things make more sense. That this guy actually maybe killed one of them on that lane, maybe, then drove... I don't know. Why would you go to the theater, though? So, a lot of strangeness here. Beard's white Chevrolet Impala was found unoccupied on the same farm lane near Portage Trail Extension. And it was found on August 25th. So while it was in that driveway on the 24th, now, the information was obtained from a witness who said he was driving behind Beard's car when it turned into the lane, Riddle said. Mary Leonard, also of Akron, was not seen in the car at the time. But the guy was sitting in the back seat. So why would you be sitting in the back seat of a car with Beard driving it and you're not in the front seat if Mary isn't around? You get what I'm saying? I don't know how the neighbor proved it or not. Okay, then same thing here. This is a sketch of a man private investigators have been told was in the back seat of Richard Beard's car as Beard drove into a remote farm lane in Northampton Township at least an hour before Beard and 17-year-old Mary Leonard disappeared. So maybe Mary was somebody somewhere else, but why would the guy sit in the back seat? This one's really weird, actually. Missing teenager baffles Egbert hero. So they just keep trying to figure out what's going on, and they're just not having any luck. And 1980 rolls around. February, 2 missing teens believed alive. Oh, wow. Jim Grace, a private investigator with William Deere Agency of Dallas, has returned to Akron, saying he has information that 2 missing North Hill teenagers are alive and living out of state. Right. Police ask public's aid in teen hunt. This is them right here, by the way. So again, they're not getting any luck there. And then 1983 rolls around. Private eye. Deere loses his license. So wasn't that the same guy? Hold on. No, it's Jim Grace. But he works for the William Deere Agency. So that's the same guy. And he lost it just because he was accused of helping a client, Mary Louisa Saylor of Dallas, obtain a fictitious Florida driver's license. So I guess he lost it temporarily. Then Now we're moving all the way to 1985. Backhoe unearths remains. Akron investigators may have found the skeletal remains of a North Akron teenage girl who vanished nearly 6 years ago with her boyfriend. A skull, other bones, and a shirt unearthed by a backhoe operator Wednesday in the Northampton Township apparently are the remains of Mary Margaret Leonard, 17, who was last seen with her boyfriend Richard Joseph Beard. Joseph Beard. It's cut pages, so Richard Joseph Beard, not Joseph. 19, shortly before midnight on August 24th, 1979. Investigators were searching the site by hand today for any evidence of Beard. Positive identification has not been made, police said. Miss Leonard and Beard were last seen alive on the front porch of the Leonard home on Thayer Street. They had gone there after attending a drive-in movie. The disappearance of the young couple attracted a nationwide attention and resulted in dozens of searches. The Leonard family had hired nationally famous private detective William Deere. Yeah. Let's see. The bones and clothing were found between 5 and 6 p.m. Wednesday by the backhoe operator who was digging a trench so crews could work on underground Ohio Bell telephone lines. The backhoe operator was working in an area west of Riverview Road between Smith and Bath Roads. So, where the body was found isn't really that far away. It's just right here. That's Bath Road, and where's Smith? That's Smith Road. So, it's apparently somewhere up in this area right here. And the bones were turned over to the Summit County Coroner's Office. Investigators were to compare the teeth in the skull with Miss Leonard's dental records. Anyways, it turns out to be them. And here's a newspaper image of... This is a better shot of that, though. Much clearer. I think it's the same, same image. So, and there's the crime scene tape. I don't know where this road is currently. I don't know what, let me try something here really quick. I didn't try that. Let me get a different time of year. Yeah, that would have been a good one. Yeah, so there's been a lot of stuff built. Maybe this parking area, I don't know. But apparently it's somewhere in this general area right here. They weren't really specific. They gave a lot of, like a huge area that it could have been in. And there's one map image that's out there that's... Services scheduled for slain teens, so they must have found both of them. For Mary Margaret Leonard and Richard Joseph Beard, teenagers whose disappearance in August 1979 sparked one of the most intense missing persons investigations in Akron history. The skeletal remains of the North Hill couple were returned to Akron Thursday after examination. The couple's skeletons were found in May in a remote area of Northampton Township off River Road by backhoe operator. So they were buried in July 1985. Again, I guess. Slaying of two teens, a mystery since 1979. This is a 1989. Now we're clear up into 1989. Like her wedding anniversary and her 6 children's birthday, August 24th, 1979, is a date that Helen Beard can never forget, but instead of smiling, Mrs. Beard winces in anguish at the memory of that 10 years ago. Shortly after 9 p.m., Beard arrived at Mrs. Okay, so this is a better breakdown here. So it says, shortly after 9 p.m., Beard arrived at Mrs. Leonard's house on Thayer Street. We've already shown that house with the yard in it. In his 1972 blue and white Chevrolet Impala. Miss Leonard, 17, told her father they were off to see a movie. The Amityville Horror. Wow. And their night turned into one. Was playing at the old Ascot Drive-In. They left the drive-in before the movie's end. See, that's kind of weird, you know. Why would you do that? A Thayer Street resident later told Akron police he saw the couple on the front. See, here's the thing is, a lot of stuff doesn't make sense because this one neighbor said he saw them at 11 p.m. Okay? If you take out what this neighbor said, things make more sense. And it could be that they never even made it. I don't know if there was a witness that saw him at the movie theater. Who knows? Early the next morning, Beard and Mrs. Leonard were reported missing. But, you know, the neighbor said he saw him at 11 p.m. They reported, let's see, Beard and Miss Leonard were reported missing. A police officer in what was formerly Northampton Township, now Cuyahoga Falls, found Beard's abandoned car parked in a farm lane near Portage Trail and Northampton Road. There was a bullet hole in the windshield. Beard's wallet was on the floor. Police found no blood in the car, no sign that a crime had taken place. The couple's disappearance sparked one of the most extensive missing persons investigations in Akron police history. The area was combed on foot, and from the air, tips from all over the country fed hopes that Beard and Miss Leonard were alive and well. 6 years went by before a backhoe operator unearthed their skeletons while digging trench near Riverview Road in the Falls. In the Falls, Summit County Coroner William Cox ruled that both teens were murdered. The skeletal remains were examined by the coroner's staff and again in Washington, D.C. by a physical anthropologist at the Smithsonian Institution. Both exams confirmed that Miss Leonard and Beard were victims of overkill, it says. Beard suffered multiple gunshot wounds in the chest and neck. Miss Leonard was stabbed at least once in the chest and shot multiple times in the chest and left arm. When you see that kind of overkill, you think of, and look what it says right here. See, when you think that kind of overkill, you think of a motorcycle gang killing. Would any of you have thought that at all? Would any of you went, oh yeah, this reminds me of a motorcycle gang shooting? Cox said Wednesday, they will shoot you multiple times and stab you multiple times. Okay, well, you know, psychos do too. And, you know, other gangs do that. Police have no suspects, according to Akron Detective John Bailey. We have some theories, some guesses, Bailey said. The theories hinge on suspicions that Beard was involved in minor drug activity. That crossed my mind. And had run-ins with some motorcycle gangs. Not that part. Police found 17 marijuana cigarette butts in his car ashtray and 1.5 methamphetamine pills in the glove compartment. But because Miss Leonard had no similar background, Bailey has trouble getting the theories to add up to murder. If either one of those groups, motorcycle gangs or drug dealers, had a problem, I could see the drug dealer angle, with him, why bring her into this? Bailey said. Right. As far as we know, no members of either family have anything to do with it. Miss Beard insisted that her son never used illicit drugs and had no friends or enemies. I believe more than one person took part in this, and if circumstances are right, we may be able to get some information. Yeah. Now this is a letter to the editor. The Beacon Journal printed on look at on August 24th. The Beacon Journal printed an article about the murders of Richard Beard and Mary Leonard, which occurred 10 years ago. These violent deaths were tragic. The article said Beard and Miss Leonard were victims of overkill. Summit County Coroner William Cox said, "When you see that kind of overkill, you think of a motorcycle gang killing." The article did not give any indication of motorcycle gang involvement. Beard's mother said her son had no acquaintances who rode motorcycles. Why then did Cox say, and the Beacon Journal print, that this looked like a motorcycle gang type killing? Yeah, see, I think it's cool when people write letters to the editor like that, right? Do we have that many motorcycle gang-related killings in Summit County that this is constantly on Cox's mind, or is he trying to imply that all motorcyclists are drug dealers and murderers? Webster's definition of a gang, a couple of people having informal and social... Anyways, that guy got pissed off and wrote a letter. I just thought it was kind of funny. Alright, and then in 2000, another article, they reopened the case. More than 20 years have passed since Richard Beard and Mary Leonard disappeared, and 15 years have gone by since the remains of the North Hill teens were found. Now Akron police, buoyed by new leads and evidence, have decided to reopen this famous murder investigation. Police will hold a press conference this morning. This has been a multi-state investigation. We have received a ton of information, said Akron Sergeant Edward Moriarty. This has us in a definite direction, a direction that was identified early on, but people were not in the position to talk. The families of Ricky Beard, 19, and Mary Leonard, 17, have never given up hope that whoever murdered their children would be brought to justice. Yeah, so here's like the next page. It's pretty big. And this one had a little bit better map on it. Still not that great. But this is them actually digging, sifting at the time. And here's the timeline. Oh, that's the William Deere guy that had his license removed. Richard Beard and Mary Leonard are last seen at Ascot Drive-In. August 25th, Beard's car is found on a farm lane in Northampton Township. The car has a bullet hole through the windshield, but there is no trace of blood inside the vehicle. Police organized search of the banks of Little Cuyahoga River. 1985, the couple's skeletal remains are found by a backhoe operator digging at a site in Northampton Township. The site is about 2 miles from where Beard's car was found. In 2000, Akron police announced reopening the case. Yep. All right. So, anyways, they reopened it in 2000, and then we've got actual, full-on color. This is from 2019, if you can believe it, in the newspaper. So that's what they look like, really. Yeah, but see, Susanna, the thing is you can't say that if the witness did see them when they came home. Okay, see, that's why if you could eliminate the witness seeing them come home at 11, everything makes a hell of a lot more sense. Let's see what this timeline here says. Joseph Beard, 19, and Mary Margaret, 17, go on a date to the Ascot Drive-In Theater in Northampton Township. Ooh, there goes my stomach. They are never seen by loved ones again. That's just a timeline. So this is some new stuff down here. The investigators showed Nancy Flash, Mary's sister, Mary's skull because she had taken Mary to the dentist. Flash confirmed they were her sister's teeth. They also held up clothes that were recovered. He said, yes, this is definitely her. Flash 67 recalled. There's no doubt about it. Tim Beard drove his mother, Helen, to the site, parked out of view of the recovery effort, and asked her to stay in the car. He walked into the woods and saw sheets laid out with bones on them. They were trying to piece the skeleton together, said Tim Beard, 57. My brother being put together like a puzzle. Along with clothing, the team also found other items, Mary's purse, wallet, and watch, and Ricky's pocket money clip, pocket knife, and loose change. Summit County Coroner Dr. William Cox confirmed the identities of Mary and Ricky through dental records. He sent their remains to the Smithsonian. I can't say that word right now. My mouth's too dry. Smithsonian. Say that really fast, everybody. Great, I can do it, man. I can do it really well. Yeah. Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. for help in determining the cause of death. The families finally were able to put their loved ones to rest during funerals on Saturday. Yeah, it's easy to type it in, Michelle. Really simple. Yeah, it's really easy to type it in. I'm saying it. Say it out loud. Hey, everybody, type in 5 times fast Smithsonian. It's hard, I know, but... What are you talking about, Nan? I don't get it. Let's see. The teens were buried at Holy Cross Cemetery. Brutal death. The autopsy showed that both teens had suffered brutal death within a few hours of when they were last seen. Now, it's hard for you to... 5 years later, you can't be that precise, but sure. And they're just skeletons at this point. But, I think it's a good assumption. Ricky had been shot twice at the base of the neck from the front and in his right shoulder from the back. That's interesting. Another shot from behind. And remember how the guy was seen in the back seat of his car, but she wasn't in the car? So there was a driver, and then this guy with long hair in the back seat. But apparently after that, they go to a movie. I think somebody's got the wrong witness information. If you take away the 11 o'clock sighting back at Leonard's home, everything, you can make a story that makes sense out of it. It's hard with them making it back home. You can come up with something, But it gets messy, and it's just odd. Mary's injuries were more extreme. In addition to being shot once in the back, and again in the back, twice in the left arm, she had a chipped tooth consistent with a blow to the chin, a stab wound in her ribs, a cracked sternum, and a fractured arm. The teens were shot with a .357 Magnum or a .38 caliber revolver, the coroner said. The injuries provided clues that enabled police and the teens' loved ones to speculate. I think they killed her first and then him. I think it's the other way around, said Tom Leonard, 65. She was tortured and he... well, I guess it could be that way. But how do you know she wasn't assaulted? I guess if the clothing was still on her bones, maybe not, but... Bill Bird said someone may have harmed Mary to try to get his brother to say or admit something. It could have been. And he didn't back down, Mike Beard said. So maybe the family and everybody believes the drug angle. And he didn't back down, Mike Beard said. He didn't back down from any of us, and it wouldn't have changed for anyone else. The location where the... let's see... where the remains were found was another clue. The drive was between trees and overgrowth and led to a home that was a football field away in the woods. Between trees and overgrowth. It was remote enough that some local kids had used it as a lover's lane. Herbert, though, said she and Mary weren't familiar with this spot, and she can't imagine her best friend going there willingly. Another curiosity was the close proximity, less than 2 miles between where the remains were found and where Ricky's car was discovered. See, I think the car was left there by the killer after he killed them, and then headed back into town. I mean, if you look at the look of this, see, the car was found, somewhere in this general vicinity right here. I don't know. It could have been closer to this is where they say near this intersection right here. But the map looked like it's more up here. So it seems like, I mean, here's the town here, and then you bring the bodies farther away, and then drive it back, put it here, and then maybe your car is somewhere generally in the vicinity, or you just live in the town here because it's not really that far away. Apparently this is only 2 miles, they're saying. Yeah, 2.6 right there. So that means town is not even a mile just to get in here. Yeah, the neighbor thing screws everything up. That's the problem. Thanks, Zozo. Yeah, I had a little dry spell there for a while. We are starting a new month, everybody. We got to keep on trucking. Thank you. Hope you're having fun on your fun, your trip. Another curiosity was the close proximity, less than 2 miles between where the remains were found and where Ricky's car was discovered. I don't have it that way, and I have it on the map, just how they have it. It's about 2.6. The car was on an unused farm lane off Portage Trail at the entrance to a decrepit cinder block garage with rotting doors. There was a single bullet hole in the windshield, but no blood inside. Back in 1979, a bar was located on the corner near the garage where the car was left, the only business in the area. Mike Beard wonders if the killer may have been familiar with the bar and walked there to catch a ride. Yeah, there you go. After dumping Ricky's car. Yeah. See, I think the car was definitely dumped there by the killer. You know, however, you know, how they got from there to where they were going, I don't know. It was somebody near there who knew the location, he said. Yeah. While continuing to speculate about their siblings' murders, both families found ways to cope and to remember the people they lost. The Beard family avoided bringing Ricky up to Helen Beard because it upset her. Gloria Leonard, Mary's mom, however, had the opposite view. Connie Leonard, Jerry Leonard's wife, recalls asking Gloria, "Do you like to talk about Mary?" "I'd talk about Mary every day if I could," Gloria responded. Anyway, let's see. Where's the map? All this other stuff isn't really pertinent, I don't think. Yeah, so here's the map right here. And I have it exactly, basically almost exactly how they have it here. And it's definitely over 2 miles as a crow flies. So driving it would be closer to 3 and something. So that's a crazy one, right? I mean, if you can get rid of the 11 o'clock sighting back at the home, then you can make a story that sounds reasonable. Like they went here to this location where the car was found, but when the car pulled in there was a guy in the back seat, and he wasn't there, or she wasn't in the car. So I'm trying to figure out how to make that work. Maybe she's already been killed. Because apparently, didn't they leave the house at 9 o'clock? He came over to pick her up. Maybe they left right around then. So maybe she'd already been killed. Then he brought her back here. And, you know, then that means she was killed first. But he didn't come back here first. But then, again, what's crazy, after they were here, they made it to the movie theater. Right here, apparently. But, you know, were there... God, this is one that you can't really just make a nice little neat story out of and have it make sense. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I think that's going to be it for me. I'm going to go rest. Last night was a 5-hour show. So I got a 2-hour show in today. Hopefully that's... And also, hold on one second. Let's see. I got PayPals that came in like later in the evening last night, but Sandra, Amy, Paulette, and then we've got Gareth also, and then Daniel Hurd, Debbie. This is today actually, but probably early in the morning. Debbie, and then Angela H. Very nice, thank you very much. And then also Mary Johnson from today. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, no problem, Cindy. So hopefully you guys found those interesting cases. You know, those probably haven't been talked about in years, I would imagine. At least the first 4.
Thanks for maps reading and being with us tonight, Gray.
No problemo. All right. I gotta figure out another one of these stories to send you. I know I've covered cases, but now I can't remember which ones were the ones I wanted to send over. But thank you to
Andrea Rogero Drum. Barbara Smith. Billy Boy Blue. Andrea Rogero Drum. Gwen Jackson. Laurie H. Indigo Eyes. Michelle Nicholas. Zozo. Lillian. Linda Howe, as in Linda Bolden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Oh, and Billy Boy Blue.
That's right, Billy Boy Blue. He needed the money. Ooh.
Heart, heart.
Oh, thank you guys.
Chat is awesome. End transmission.
Yeah. Yeah, they busted you this time, though, Billy Boy Blue. But anyways, all right, everybody. Thank you guys very much for showing up. And make sure to wash your hands, maintain your social distancing, wear a mask. Hey, thank you, Charlie Ann. Oh, wait, hold on, I can... And Billy Boy Blue. They got you. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 2 and a 3. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector, here's my nectar. Professor Grayl's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, free connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Full deflector, interceptor. Man, I mean a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all. Just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm a recommender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody? Talk to you later.
Alright, great. Hey, thanks for the show. Okay, hey, man, that was one of the greatest shows in the history of mankind.
Oh my God, you're a little bit too animated there.
Gosh, I was just excited about the show. Geez, just trying to show my support, but God, you're so mean, John Boy.
Wow. I guess we're starting the new year off like that, aren't we?
Yes, we sure are. You're so mean.
Oh boy, here we go again with these wackos, huh? Man, never ends, never ends.
They are mean. Thanks, everybody.
doing that by memory. That's pretty funny. I can do it by memory now.
Thanks, Gen H. Wow. Wait a minute. I spring control on my phone, but I don't need it. I chew it up and spit it out and repeat it. It's not a treat, control is beat. Just one of the ways that I defeat it. Stay in my groove, when there's a troll on the move. Just takes a second to remove, 'cause every time I conclude, the troll is gonna move. Nice try, lizard eye, I see you creeping on the sly. Why you think you're so fly when you're just a whiny cry? Battle me, you're gonna fry. Gonna send you out to mummify. Time to say goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye, Mary Lou.
Oh, now you're gonna try to be nice to me?
No?
Okay, gee, you're so mean.
How come you didn't say golly gee willikers?
I don't know, I've never heard that one before. Hey, Sassmere, will do, I'll let Gray know. Gosh, John, boy, you're really keen.
Keen? Who the hell says keen?
Well, the same people who say golly gee willikers.
Well, I thought you said you didn't know what that word was.
Oh, I do now. I looked it up on the internet and it said that keen and golly gee willikers and words like that, you know? Yeah, swell too. I don't say swell. I don't say metal and gentle and metal, little, 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 little. above it, center above it, eating their turds and whey. Along came the spider and stepped in beside her and said, hey, what's in the bowl, biatch? Well, Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get a poor dog a bone. But when she ran over, Robert took over and he gave a bone of his own. You!
Man, you're mean. Those are dirty rhymes, Mary Lou.
Well, you're the one that taught him to me. Remember that one time?
Well, don't tell him that. I mean, I'll tell him that I... Hey,
What are you trying to sound like me?
yeah, well, I was trying to, but I can't get that high. But anyways, thank you guys very much. Gray's taken off already. I think I saw him walk into the bathroom a few minutes ago.
Isn't that a little TMI? Isn't that TMI right there? Gee, that's weird. Who cares if he went into the toilet?
Well, sometimes people care, you know, and that's just the way it is. Hey, thank you, Elizabeth. Wow, very cool right at the end of the show there.
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. Wow, that's really neat. That's really neato. Hey, but what the hell is that thing? What's that animal dancing side by side?
Yeah, what is that thing? Looks like some karate something.
All right, everybody, be safe out there.